Hi everybody, my name is Tony Monisse from Brentnalls WA. Today I'm going to share with you the number one reason why businesses are not achieving sustainable growth. Managing a business can be complicated, it's stressful, and typically business growth is a top priority for many business owners. So maybe you've been in a position where you've invested a lot of time and energy to growing your business, you've secured new sales, you've won new customers, and you're increasing revenue, but you're not seeing any improvement in your bottom line and you're still struggling to manage cash flow. So how do you as a business owner go from throwing everything at growing your business but seeing no increase in profitability to implementing a strategic growth plan that ensures the long-term sustainability of your profit and growth for your business? So why do you need a strategic growth plan? Well, 60% of Australian businesses fail in their first 3 years, and many are not profitable, which is from our experience. Secondly, it's important for businesses to get out of the fog by understanding your numbers and getting your numbers and your strategy and your actions in sync so that you are taking the correct actions. Thirdly, by understanding your strategic sweet spot and focusing opportunities where you can win, you avoid waste in your business. And lastly, to ensure you achieve your business goals and get to where you want to go, you need that strategic growth plan. So what is a sustainable growth plan? When we talk about sustainable, profitable growth, we're talking about having a strategic plan, the right processes and systems that help you execute your business in growing in a sustainable way for future success. So what does that look like? First of all, it includes resilience, a path, because the path for most businesses is not linear. Your business needs to handle the ups and downs of unforeseeable changes. Secondly, you need to address profitability. For a business to grow in the long term, it's pretty simple. It needs to make a profit. But at certain stages of the business life cycle, it may not. And in the long term, this will affect its sustainability. And the third element to be addressed in a profitable growth plan is scalability. So for businesses with a growth objective, it's important to be able to scale up and continue to be profitable as the revenue and the costs of the business go up. Because if costs go up greater than the revenue is, then that's not really affording the business that scalability. So this is our game plan to grow a sustainable, profitable business. It's something we've put together as a model to help us work with our clients to execute on their strategic growth plans. So we call this a framework for success. I encourage you, there'll be a link to download a copy of this at the end of the video. And what you'll see with this model is it shows the 4 pillars of effective growth and the control, which is essential for successfully growing and managing a business. So to go through each pillar, the first pillar is commitment. That's number one for all businesses. So, if your goals are not aligned with the business goals, then you're going to struggle. And we see that often with a lot of businesses that we work with where, for whatever reason, the owner of the business has lost commitment. So it's really important that as a business owner, you engage with that business and in the direction of that business so it aligns with your goals, not only personally, but from a family and a business perspective. The second thing is financial control. So, part of that game plan to grow and to grow in a sustainable way is the first thing we see is that often the information is not organised in a way that allows the business to receive accurate, timely and relevant information and hence doesn't provide the basis for making informed decisions about the direction of the business. The second thing as part of that financial control and allowing the business to scale and grow on a sustainable basis is having what we refer to as a growth, profit, cash flow model. So that is, really understanding what are the KPIs, what are the drivers of sales, what are the drivers of profit, what are the drivers of cash flow. And then also to be able to look at that sort of analysis across the different business segments. So, whether it's geographic segments, whether it's customer segments, because there might be, what we often find is that some segments of the business are really profitable and other segments of the business are unprofitable. And often it's the profitable segments that are subsidizing the unprofitable segment. And the last thing that's really important for our business is to prepare what is considered best practices rolling 4-quarter forecasts. So it's really important that a business looks forward, looks at past results, but uses those past results to forecast the profit and the cash flow of the business going forward, to check that growth is sustainable. Because often what we find is when we forecast that often there's a need for further capital, there might be a need to go and see the bank, there might be a need to inject further funds in the business to fund and finance that future growth. So, so we addressed the first 2 steps. We've got commitment from the business owner. The second step is that we've got, financial control of our business to help us, scale our business to grow. The third element is having a strategic plan. So this is, it's really important that the business has has documented its aspirations, its growth aspirations. So the first thing we look for is 3 to 5 year targets. So setting, what are those expectations around revenue, profit, and cash flow over the next 3 to 5 years? The second thing is is articulating and documenting the business model for the business. So typically that is around some key questions of, where is the business going to play, and how is it going to win in the space where it's going to play, and what are the capabilities required to win in that space? So it's absolutely critical that the business is clear on the answers to those questions if it's going to grow and scale its business to achieve those growth targets we talked about. The third element of a strategic plan is what's referred to as the SWOT analysis. So it's really important that a business reviews both its internal environment and its external environment, and where what are those strengths, what are the weaknesses of the business, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. And then lastly, once we've worked through that process of a strategic plan, is what are those 3 to 6 strategies that the business needs to engage in to achieve its 3 to 5 year targets that honours and works with the documented business, the articulated business model, and that also addresses the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And once those strategies are articulated, then that becomes the focus of the business over the next 3 to 5 years. So we've got the strategic plan in place to grow the business. The last step is to execute. And so, look, I think, often what we hear about and we've seen is there's lots of businesses have great plans, but they don't execute. They sit in the bottom drawer. So the execute piece is really important. And there's 2 elements. There's a number of facets to the execute, but 2 major elements to it. One is what we refer to as our quarterly business review. So that's really an opportunity for the business owner and key stakeholders and key management to stop, take time out, and look at what is happening in their business. So typically what that revolves around is, looking at, what are the opportunities and red flags, looking at the actual and forecast performance of the business, both in terms of sales, profit, and cash flow, and how does that compare to those 3 to 5 year targets we set. And then from that, the business owner and key management can articulate what are the 3 to 6 what are those 3 to 6 key actions that the business needs to focus on in the next quarter. And then there needs to be an accountability piece around that. The second element of execute is, typically, a business is all about people. So that other element is about having the right people in the right seats. The next thing also to help with the execution piece is having a dashboard, a KPI dashboard that's produced monthly. So typically we help clients set up those dashboards, very high level, just understanding whether the business is on target or not on target in terms of the key measures of the business, be it sales, profit, and cash flow, and some of the key driver activities that drive those numbers. And the last thing is that a business needs to engage in is a meeting rhythm, is to have that regular meeting rhythm. And obviously the quarterly business review is part of that meeting rhythm. But, what do those meetings look like internally in the business, both from a daily, a weekly, and a monthly basis? So this is our game plan that we work with to help our clients grow their business in a sustainable and profitable way. So the last thing I'd like to just talk about is this best practice checklist that we've developed. And look, we found it as a really helpful tool. It really draws on all our experiences in terms of our experience of advising clients. But what we've articulated it down to is these 20 key checkpoints that we believe all good businesses should have in place if they're going to scale their business and grow it in a sustainable and profitable way. So it's a helpful tool for you to help evaluate how your business is going in each of these 4 areas that we spoke about and identify any opportunities for investment. There's a series of questions around each of the 4 pillars, as I mentioned previously. So I urge you to go through this checklist and look at how you can improve your business with each of these areas, both in the short term and the long term to achieve your sustainable growth objectives. So you'll see a link below this video to download the checklist for success. So look, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this short presentation. If you'd like to take advantage of our offer for a complimentary business review session, in this 1-hour strategic review, we can help you identify the opportunities for improved growth, increasing profitability, and improving your cash flow in your business. So we please welcome you to contact us if you'd like to learn more.